The pain hits like a tidal wave. One day he's there, the next he's gone. Your heart feels empty, your mind races with questions. This is the brutal cycle of breakups that leaves you wondering if the pain will ever end. But listen closely. That ending is just the first chapter of your story. The tears and sleepless nights, they're not forever. What comes next is where the real magic happens. From the crushing weight of heartbreak rises something unexpected, your own power. The journey from that first painful goodbye to standing tall in your own light transforms everything. You shed old habits. You rediscover forgotten dreams. You build a version of yourself that's stronger than before. And here's the twist that changes everything. As you rise, he notices. When you stop chasing and start living, the tables turn. It's the ultimate paradox. The moment you truly move on is exactly when he'll come crawling back. But by then, something profound will have happened. Your growth will have carried you to a place where his return doesn't matter like it once did. The begging and apologies that once seemed like everything you wanted will pale compared to what you've built for yourself. This isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your story. It's about the day you realize that losing him was the push you needed to find yourself. It happens in an instant. That moment when the relationship ends feels like the floor disappearing beneath your feet. The person who once called you every day suddenly becomes a stranger. Your phone stays silent. Your messages go unanswered. The space beside you in bed remains empty night after night. This is raw pain in its purest form. Your chest tightens with each breath. Food loses its taste. Sleep becomes a distant memory. You find yourself staring at walls, replaying conversations, searching for the exact moment things went wrong. Was it something you said, something you did, or perhaps something you failed to do? Rejection cuts deep into our sense of self-worth. It whispers lies about who we are and what we deserve. Not good enough, it says. Unlovable, it claims. These thoughts circle like vultures, picking apart your confidence piece by piece. The mirror reflects someone you barely recognize, eyes puffy from crying, shoulders slumped from carrying invisible weight. Confusion becomes your constant companion. One day you're angry, cursing his name and deleting photos. The next, you're drowning in sadness, clinging to memories like precious artifacts. This emotional whiplash leaves you dizzy, unable to find stable ground. Friends offer well-meaning advice. Time heals all wounds. There are plenty of fish in the sea. But their words float past you, unable to penetrate the fog of your grief. They don't understand the unique pain of losing this particular person, this specific future you had planned together. Then comes the yearning, that desperate hope that he'll realize his mistake. You check your phone 100 times a day. Each notification makes your heart leap, only to crash when it's not him. You craft scenarios in your mind where he shows up at your door, eyes filled with regret, begging for another chance. This desire for his return becomes an obsession. You analyze his social media posts for hidden messages. You take specific routes, hoping to bump into him accidentally. You consider reaching out, just to check if he's okay, though what you really want is to hear his voice again. Behind every breakup lies a story. Sometimes he leaves because feelings fade, that initial spark dimming until only habit remains. Two people who once couldn't get enough of each other gradually become strangers sharing the same space. Conversations grow shorter, silences stretch longer. Physical touch becomes rare until one day he admits what both already know. Something vital has disappeared. Other times, incompatible life goals drive the wedge. He wants freedom while you crave stability. He pursues career opportunities in distant cities while your roots run deep where you are. These fundamental differences aren't anyone's fault, but they create chasms too wide to bridge with love alone. Trust issues fracture many relationships beyond repair. Perhaps he betrayed confidences or crossed boundaries repeatedly. Maybe his insecurities led to jealousy and control that suffocated what once flourished between you. When trust shatters, rebuilding requires more strength than some possess. Personal growth moves at different paces. He might have outgrown the relationship, feeling stagnant and restless. Or perhaps he hasn't grown enough, remaining immature while you evolved. These mismatched developmental stages create friction until separation becomes inevitable. What feels like cruel abandonment actually opens doors previously invisible. His departure creates space, painful, empty space, but space nonetheless. This void, though initially terrifying, holds unlimited potential for transformation. Pain breaks patterns. When he leaves, routines built around his preferences dissolve. Suddenly, decisions require only your input. What do you want for dinner? Which movie would you enjoy? What music makes you happy? These seemingly small choices become stepping stones toward rediscovering yourself. Freedom from his gaze allows experimentation without judgment. Those dance classes you avoided because he thought they were silly? That bold haircut he wouldn't approve of? The friends he never quite liked? All become possible again. His absence forces self-reliance. Problems you once handed to him now land squarely in your lap. Each solution you create builds confidence. Each obstacle you overcome strengthens resolve. Skills long dormant reawaken as necessity demands you handle life independently. His departure isn't just an ending, it's an invitation to reinvention, a painful gift wrapped in heartbreak paper. Breaking contact completely feels counterintuitive at first. Every instinct screams to reach out, to explain things differently, to hear his voice just once more. Those unfinished conversations and unsaid words burn inside, demanding release, but this path leads only to fresh wounds and delayed healing. No contact means exactly that. Zero communication, no calls, no texts, no accidental run-ins at places he frequents. No late-night social media checks to see what he's doing or who he's with. It means removing his digital footprint from your daily life, unfollowing, unfriending, deleting photos, and archiving messages. This clean break isn't about punishing him or playing games. It's about creating sacred space for your healing. Each time contact occurs, the emotional clock resets to zero. That small progress made over weeks vanishes with a single exchange. One message reopens the wound, and healing must begin again from scratch. Distance provides clarity impossible to achieve in proximity. Away from his influence, patterns become visible. Red flags previously dismissed as quirks suddenly appear in proper perspective. Moments you excused as bad days reveal themselves as part of troubling behaviors. This new vantage point offers brutal but necessary truth. Silent spaces between heartbeats allow authentic feelings to surface. Without his voice coloring perceptions, emotions flow naturally. Anger, sadness, relief, confusion, each rising and falling without judgment. This emotional current, though overwhelming, carries away debris of the relationship bit by bit. Physical symptoms of withdrawal emerge in this silence. Sleep disturbances, appetite changes, and restlessness mirror addiction recovery. These responses feel alarming but signal progress. Neural pathways rewiring, breaking dependency on his presence for happiness and validation. Time passes differently in this quiet period. Days crawl while weeks somehow fly. Morning routines gradually shift from checking phones to checking in with yourself. Evening hours, once spent talking to him, transform into moments of reflection or connection with others who truly value your presence. Gradually, his absence creates room for self-presence. Thoughts previously centered on him redirect inward. Questions change from, "What is he doing now?" to, "What do I want to do now?" This subtle shift marks the beginning of reclaiming personal power, turning attention from what was lost to what might be found. Relationships have a way of blending identities until boundaries blur. His preferences become yours. His schedule dictates yours. His dreams intertwine with your own until separating them feels impossible. When he exits, this merged identity shatters, leaving fragments that don't quite fit together anymore. Finding who you were before him requires archaeological digging. Old journals reveal forgotten dreams. Conversations with longtime friends uncover interests abandoned for his sake. Family members remind you of talents once proudly displayed but gradually shelved. These discoveries feel like meeting an old friend, both familiar and strange simultaneously. Questions emerge during this excavation. Which parts of the relationship persona were authentic and which were adaptations to keep peace? Did you truly enjoy those weekend fishing trips, or did you simply enjoy seeing him happy? Did those political opinions really resonate, or were they absorbed through proximity? Answering honestly creates foundation for genuine identity. Freedom arrives in small moments. Painting until 3 a.m. because no one expects you home. Booking solo travel without consulting another's comfort level. Rearranging furniture based solely on personal taste. Playing music loudly without concern for disturbing anyone. Each decision reinforces autonomy long surrendered to partnership. Passions once set aside call for attention. Dust collects on guitar strings, unused since early dating days. Half-finished novels sit in drawers, abandoned when his activities took precedence. That dance class dropped because it conflicted with his game nights now has openings. Reconnecting with these interests isn't merely distraction, it's reclamation of joy independent of relationship status. New activities present themselves, offering fresh neural pathways untainted by relationship memories. Skills never before attempted: rock climbing, pottery, coding, cooking cuisines from distant countries, create confidence unconnected to him. These pursuits provide evidence of capability beyond being someone's partner. Friendships neglected during the relationship need tending. Some connections may have withered beyond repair when social circles narrowed to accommodate his comfort. Others wait patiently, ready to resume with understanding and support. Building community creates emotional infrastructure crucial for sustained independence. Physical spaces transform during this rediscovery. Bookshelves once housing his sports trophies display treasures reflecting personal taste. Walls previously bare now showcase art that speaks to individual spirit. Scents, sounds, and textures throughout living spaces celebrate preferences without compromise. Growth begins with small victories that accumulate day by day. Fixing that leaky faucet without calling him, navigating to unfamiliar destinations without his directions, handling difficult conversations at work instead of seeking his advice first. Each challenge met alone builds confidence in increments until suddenly handling life independently feels natural rather than overwhelming. Skills development extends beyond practical necessities into areas of genuine interest. Evening classes in photography capture perspectives previously unseen. Financial literacy workshops provide tools for independent security. Cooking lessons transform kitchen time from chore to creative expression. Each new ability adds dimension to identity while proving adaptability and resilience. Physical strength parallels emotional resilience. Morning runs push limits further each week. Yoga practice deepens flexibility both in body and mindset. Weight training builds muscle and determination simultaneously. This physical transformation isn't about attracting him back. It's about honoring the vessel carrying you through this journey of reinvention. Social circles expand beyond coupled friends who inadvertently take sides post-breakup. Book clubs introduce literature lovers with diverse perspectives. Volunteer work connects like-minded individuals passionate about community impact. Group travel experiences forge bonds through shared adventures. These connections provide both support and mirrors, reflecting newly emerging strengths. Evenings once spent in anxiety about relationship status transform into gatherings filled with laughter and authentic exchange. Brunches stretch into afternoon conversations without checking phones for his messages. Weekends fill with activities chosen purely for personal enjoyment rather than compromise. Social fulfillment comes from quality connections rather than relationship status. Mental fortitude develops through deliberate practice. Meditation quiets the inner critic that questioned worthiness after rejection. Journaling tracks progress and patterns previously invisible. Therapy provides tools for processing grief and establishing healthy boundaries. This mental training proves more valuable than any skill visible to others. Emotional intelligence grows through conscious attention. Feelings once pushed aside for relationship harmony now receive acknowledgement without judgment. Triggers from past hurts become recognizable before causing reactions. Self-soothing techniques replace seeking external validation. This emotional mastery provides stability previously dependent on another's presence. Setbacks inevitably occur during growth. Days when his absence feels unbearable. Moments when memories flood back without warning. Yet recovery time shortens with each episode. The ability to sit with discomfort without reaching for distraction or connection demonstrates strengthening emotional muscles working precisely as designed. Shifts occur subtly at first. His social media activity changes pattern. Suddenly, he's viewing every story within minutes of posting. Photos showcasing new adventures receive his immediate likes. Comments appear under pictures where you look particularly happy. These digital breadcrumbs aren't random. They're calculated efforts to reestablish presence in your consciousness. Content on his profiles sends signals impossible to miss. Song lyrics about regret appear as captions. Throwback photos from times together materialize without context. Philosophical quotes about appreciating what you had fill his feed. These passive communications test waters without risking direct rejection, hoping to trigger memories and soften potential responses. Direct attempts follow when subtle approaches yield no results. Text messages arrive unexpectedly, often beginning innocuously, just checking how you're doing, or found something that reminded me of you. Create openings requiring minimal vulnerability. Each message carefully crafted to seem casual while fishing for emotional temperature readings. Late-night communications reveal true intentions hidden behind daylight restraint. Messages sent at 1 a.m. carry emotional honesty absent from afternoon texts. Alcohol often fuels these confessions of missing your laugh, remembering shared jokes, wondering about your family. These unguarded moments offer glimpses into genuine feelings previously concealed. Common friends suddenly mention him in conversations. He asked about you, slips into casual coffee dates. He seemed really down when your name came up, appears in brunch discussions. These messengers often act on his direct requests, testing receptiveness while maintaining his pride and deniability should signals prove unwelcome. Unexpected appearances in places you frequent follow strategic planning. That coffee shop you mentioned loving on social media suddenly becomes his favorite work spot. Gyms, stores, and restaurants within your normal routine see his increased patronage. These coincidental encounters allow face-to-face assessment of your reaction to his presence. Special dates bring predictable contact attempts. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays carry emotional weight perfect for nostalgia-based reconnection. Messages acknowledging these occasions serve dual purposes, demonstrating he remembers significant moments while reopening communication channels through socially acceptable means. Physical items from your shared past become excuses for interaction. Found your favorite sweater, or still have those concert tickets we bought, create legitimate reasons for meeting. These tangible connections to relationship history facilitate in-person encounters where chemistry and history might overcome present boundaries. Mutual acquaintances report changes in his behavior. Stories of declined social invitations, decreased dating activity, or statements about focusing on self-improvement circulate back. These accounts, whether intentionally shared or casually mentioned, paint pictures of growth and maturity designed to contrast with relationship-era behavior. Eventually, indirect approaches fail to achieve desired results, and direct confrontation becomes his only remaining option. The message or call arrives with carefully chosen timing, not too late to seem desperate, not too early in the day to be easily dismissed with busyness. His voice carries practiced casualness, barely concealing underlying tension. Words flow in rehearsed patterns, attempting to balance confidence with vulnerability. Face-to-face meetings reveal what digital communication conceals. Eyes widen slightly upon seeing physical changes impossible to fully capture in photos. That confident posture, the relaxed smile, the composed demeanor, replacing previous anxiety to please, these transformations register visibly in his expression. Questions about new haircuts, fitness routines, or career advancements poorly mask genuine shock at encountering someone so different from the person left behind. Conversations quickly turn toward apologies, wrapped in justifications. I wasn't in a good place, or I needed to figure things out. Attempt to soften the abandonment while maintaining self-image. These explanations arrive without acknowledging the growth those painful months required from you. His narrative centers personal journey without recognizing the consequences his choices imposed on others. Reminiscing serves as his primary strategy for reconnection. Remember when we statements pepper conversations, attempting to transport both parties back to happier times. Shared jokes, private language, and references to intimate moments seek to rebuild familiarity, each memory carefully selected to evoke positive emotions while avoiding less flattering relationship chapters. Compliments flow freely, noticing every positive change while conveniently overlooking who facilitated these improvements through their absence. "You look amazing," and "You seem so confident now," contain unspoken subtext. He wants partial credit for the transformation his departure necessitated. These observations simultaneously express admiration while attempting to establish continued influence over your self-perception. Future plans emerge prematurely in conversations. Casual mentions of concerts months away, restaurants we should try, or travel destinations perfect for us test receptiveness to renewed coupling. These projections plant seeds of potential reconciliation while requiring minimal vulnerability should suggestions meet resistance. Physical proximity increases with each interaction. Initial respectful distance gradually shrinks as meetings progress. Casual touches, hands brushing while reaching for drinks, hugs lasting seconds too long, standing slightly closer than friendship requires, test boundaries while reestablishing physical connection. Each contact carefully calculated to seem natural rather than strategic. Power shifts silently but completely during separation. Initial heartbreak positioned him as holder of choices. He decided to leave, setting terms for the ending. Now roles reverse in unexpected ways. His return places decision-making firmly in hands previously left empty. This newfound authority doesn't arrive through manipulation or games, but through genuine transformation that altered the relationship's fundamental dynamics. Choice exists where once only reaction lived. Responding immediately becomes optional rather than compulsory. Messages can sit unanswered for hours or days without anxiety. Invitations require consideration rather than automatic acceptance. This deliberate pace provides space for authentic assessment rather than emotional impulse. Questions arise that never seemed relevant before. Does his presence add value to this carefully constructed new life? Do his communication patterns show genuine change or temporary behavior modification to achieve reconciliation? Has he grown in ways that complement rather than hinder personal evolution? These inquiries focus on future potential rather than shared history. Moving forward independently carries advantages impossible within the relationship's previous constraints. Goals pursued without compromise develop momentum difficult to surrender. Freedom to change directions without consultation becomes precious through experience. Peace found in solitude creates standards for interactions that many returning partners cannot meet. Self-trust developed through adversity, provides protection against repeating painful patterns. Red flags, once dismissed, now trigger immediate recognition. Behaviors previously tolerated now meet firm boundaries. Words once accepted without evidence now require consistent actions as proof. This heightened awareness serves as internal guidance system, preventing re-entry into damaging dynamics. Worth established independently of relationship status changes everything about potential reconnection. Value no longer hinges on external validation or partner selection. Qualities once desperately highlighted for his approval now exist comfortably without audience. This self-contained esteem creates negotiating power absent during the relationship's initial phases. Gratitude sometimes emerges toward the very person whose departure caused such pain. His leaving, however painful, catalyzed growth, otherwise unlikely. The relationship's end forced confrontation with insecurities, dependencies, and patterns that limited potential. This perspective transforms him from villain to unwitting teacher in the story of personal development. Indifference replaces both love and hate, the true opposite of attachment. His actions, words, and choices gradually lose power to disturb internal peace. This emotional freedom represents healing's completion, not through forgetting, but through integration of experiences into wisdom that guides rather than wounds. Pain transforms when embraced fully. What began as heartbreak evolved into the most profound self-discovery journey possible. The tears that once seemed endless became waters of rebirth, washing away outdated versions of yourself to reveal something stronger underneath. His return marks not an ending but a measurement, a clear before and after snapshot showing growth impossible to deny. The person he left no longer exists. The person he encounters now stands complete without his presence. Life expands beyond the narrow confines of that relationship. New passions burn brighter. Fresh connections run deeper. Goals stretch further. This expanded existence would never have emerged without the painful catalyst of his departure. The ultimate power lies not in making him regret leaving, but in reaching a place where his regret no longer matters. Success isn't measured by his return, but by your response to it. Calm, centered, and authentically aligned with your highest good. This journey from devastation to empowerment repeats throughout countless lives. Each person watching has either walked this path or stands at its beginning. None walk alone. If this message resonated with you today, please hit that like button to help others find this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content that transforms pain into power. Your journey matters, and we're honored to be part of it.